Morning, everyone. Yeah, good morning, everyone. Welcome back. Happy Independence Day. Thanks for the wishes. I wish you all happy Independence Day again. Yeah. So yesterday we were discussing on yesterday we configured shipping, we configured payment, we configured dispatch. We understood the difference between the synchronous and asynchronous communication. So as we said, HTTP, you should immediately expect the feedback, but asynchronous communication, you other side system may not be up and running. Okay, so whenever it gets online, so then you will get the message. So yesterday we discussed WhatsApp message. This is point to point. We call it as point to point and queue based. And YouTube example. So this is publish and subscribe. Here we call it as topic. Okay. So for the payment topic, we are publishing a message. For the payment queue, we are sending a message. Then the dispatcher is getting the receiving the message. Similarly, in YouTube, so there will be a topic created for your channel. YouTube will publish the message to that, and subscribers immediately get the message. Okay, so that is the point to point and publish subscribe model. So later we discussed DNS, and then yesterday even I wrote a blog in Medium also. I just posted in the channel. Okay, so this is the one we discussed yesterday. So there is ICANN, Internet Corporation of Assigned Names and Numbers. So what those guys will do is we will have the root servers. Okay, under root servers, these root servers are managed by ICANN, and we have top level domains, like whatever the domain you see right in the internet, .com, .org, .net, .us, .store, .online, .tv, anything. These are called as top level domains. Okay, so for example, if you take joindevops.com, this is a .com top level domain. Okay, so each top level domain is managed by different companies in the across the world. Okay, for example, .com is managed by VeriSign. Yeah, VeriSign company. Okay, so they are the authority. They are the owner for .com domain. They have some responsibilities. For example, when I buy joindevops.com from GoDaddy or Hostinger, so Hostinger should immediately send a request to VeriSign. Okay, so customer bought this domain joindevops.com, and they have to update the name servers also. So that is the domain provider or domain register responsibility to update the TLD registries whenever you buy a domain. So, and the root servers, they have the information of TLD registries. For example, so they have the information of VeriSign TLD registry with them. Okay, so these root servers, there are across 13 root servers across the globe. Okay, just for a high availability purpose. And yeah, when you buy a domain, your register will send the domain details like your name, your details, and then your name servers, everything they will update to the respective TLD registry. Okay, so when you enter joindevops.com in the browser for the first time, your Chrome will check whether it has something in the cache. If it is not, it will communicate to operating system, and then operating system checks its cache. If it is not there, then it should connect to the ISP. From the ISP side, we have the component called DNS resolver. DNS resolver is responsible to fetch the IP address for any domain. Okay. First, it will check its cache. If it is not available there, then it will contact the root servers. So all ISPs are configured to contact the root servers. So they will contact the root servers. Then root server will scan the domain. So you are searching for joindevops.com. Then root server will give the registry details of .com. Okay, TLD registry details of .com. Then your DNS resolver will connect with TLD registry. So then already TLD registry has those details of the name servers of your domain. So then DNS resolver get the name servers. It will connect with one of the name server. Then those name servers will fetch the DNS records. So this is how the DNS is working in the background. So yesterday we bought a domain So we got, and then we shifted the control to AWS. Why I shifted the control to AWS is because the AWS is very fast. Hostinger is little bit slow compared to AWS when you are creating the records frequently. And we have the complete infrastructure in AWS. We'll be creating lot of instances, lot of things. So immediately you can update the records through automation. So that is why we shifted the control to AWS, but still you can, your provider is Hostinger because it is very cheap than AWS. So when you created the public hosted zone in AWS, it will give you the name server records. So these records you have to update in Hostinger. Then Hostinger will again send a message to the TLD, top level domain registry, about the change in name servers. So it usually take 1 to 24 hours. Yesterday it updated very fast. Okay. So this is about the DNS we discussed yesterday. Okay. And then yeah, we have all our services running. Now let us update this DNS of this one. Okay. So DNS records, you can see. So we have multiple types of records. For example, a record, you have to give IPv4 address here. Okay. Whenever you enter joindevops.com, so it will give you the IPv4 address from there. Okay, if you updated in the hosted zone, for example, let's go to our Route 53. We created one public hosted zone here. So this one, I'm going to update it as web.joindevops.online. So I'm creating a record here. Okay, let me delete and then create again. So let us take our web. This is the IP address. Creating a record. And when I enter web.joindevops.online in the internet, you are selecting a record because I am mapping this with particular IP address, then the request will go to that IP address. Okay, time to live, I'm just giving 1 because this time to live is the cache generally. Okay. So this cache information, if you give more time, then the number of requests to your original names, this one will be very less. Okay. So because if you give time to live more, each and every level, so like all the components keep it in the cache. For example, if you give more time to TTL, so then in browser, the cache, it will be for more time. Similarly, in OS, it will be for more time. Similarly, in DNS resolver, it will exist for more time. So I'm giving less time because soon it will propagate. Okay, soon it will be updated. So that is why I'm giving very less TTL. If you want immediate changes to be affected within very less time, then you have to give TTL is very less time to live. Okay, create record. So now we have web.joindevops.online. Now, if you open this here, so we are getting immediate response. Now you can just imagine how it is happening. First, the browser, it checked its cache, then it sent a request to OS. OS also checked its cache, it's not available. Then OS is contacting ISP. From the ISP side, there is a DNS resolver. It will check its cache. If it's not exist, then it is connecting to the root servers. Then root server is scanning this joindevops.online. So it will give you .online register details. So then you will contact that register. The register will give you the name servers. So name servers, definitely it is updated AWS name servers. Then the request will come to the one of the AWS name server. So then it will search for a record on this. Then you will get the IP address. Okay, so this is how it is happening in the background. Now let us update everything. So web is a component you are opening inside the internet. So that is why you have to give here public IP. But remaining IP address, the communication is all internal. So you can give private IP address. So right now I created mongodb.joindevops.online and catalog.joindevops.online. So these are the private IP addresses. So you can give only private IP address or public IP address. It's your wish, but the communication here, the communication is happening on the private IP address. Okay. So for example, so website, it is getting the request. Website, it is getting the request. Now when you click on artificial intelligence, something, these categories, now the request will go from web to catalog. Okay. Inside web, you can configure the private IP address of catalog, and inside catalog you can configure the private IP address of MongoDB. Okay. Yeah. So whatever you are opening in the internet, you have to configure public IP address. If you are not opening in the internet, then you have to create the a record with private IP address. Okay. Yeah. So in web, and let us configure these things. In catalog, we need to configure the MongoDB record. So let's go to catalog. So here I have configured already, just for one example. Okay, you can see here mongodb.joindevops.online. That's it. And then let us configure the remaining components. MongoDB, and let us configure in cart. Cart is dependent on Redis and catalog. Let us create a record for Redis. Okay. Create a record. Redis.joindevops.online, and Redis, let us take the IP address. So inside cart and user, you need to configure. Let us configure in user. Redis.joindevops.online. That's it. And here MongoDB. This is for user, and similarly cart. When you change something here, you need to daemon reload. And restart user. Okay, let's go for cart. Same Redis dot. And here, this is catalog. Let us create a record. Oh yeah, it's already there. Okay, daemon reload and then restart. User cart catalog is done, and then let us go for shipping and payment. Only IP address you need to, not the port number. Cart. So in shipping, this one, and this is MySQL, another record. and then daemon reload and restart. Okay, finally in web component, let us do the roboshop.configuration. Here, this is user.joindevops.online. Now we created for user. Let us create for user. And then here cart.joindevops.online. Now let us go for restarting. And now let's open our application here. Let's try to log in. So everything is working as expected. I think I haven't configured shipping here. Yeah, it's fine. So just I want to show you how can you configure the DNS records into our Join DevOps project. You can complete the remaining all the records like shipping, payment, dispatch, everything. Okay. So I have shown you 2-3 examples. You can follow for other records. So once you've done that, you just delete the records because there will be a charges for the creation of record also, but it is very less. Okay, but it's fine if you're not using. Once you configure this project completely, you can delete the records, but just keep the hosted join. So we resolved one issue, that is DNS. Okay, and then remaining thing we will configure, like you are creating the servers and then you are installing the packages. You are doing a lot of configuration to baseline the server. I mean, to prepare the server, we are doing like installation of the installations and then configurations and deployments. We are doing these steps to make the website up and running, but we are doing this manually. But I want to do this automatically. Then you have to go for scripting. So now let us start discussion on shell scripting. Now you understood like all the steps you are doing one by one manually. Okay, for example, you are doing this user application. First, you need to install. You need to run the script. You need to install Node.js, creation of the user, creation of directory. All these things are manually. It is taking at least 5 to 10 minutes of time to complete these many steps. Okay, for 11 instances, it is taking at least 1 hour time to complete all the instances if everything is fine. Otherwise, it is taking too much time. So why? Because you are doing this manually. For example, sometimes before running this one, we will directly run this one, and sometimes before running this one, we will directly run this next step. So after some time, you will understand I haven't. Then you realize I didn't run this step. So there are multiple problems when you are going for without shell scripting. Okay. So what are those multiple problems? Manual installations. Okay. Time taking. Easy to do mistakes. More time if you have to do multiple times. So there are disadvantages when you are doing the manual installations. So with shell scripting, you can come out of all these issues easily. Okay. So it is, I always say one example for this, that is you are carrying logs. So these are the logs in the agriculture farm. You have two options. One, you can carry this manually like this. You can carry logs manually, or else you can keep all the logs in a single truck and you can carry at a time. So which one is preferred? So definitely this one is preferred. Okay, this one is preferred because you can reduce the time, you can reduce the manual mistakes, you can reduce many other disadvantages when you are following for manual approach. Similarly, scripting is very easy actually than manual installation. So you have like 20 commands to deploy user component. So you need to run one by one. Instead of running one by one manually, keep 20 commands in a file and run at a time. Okay, so this is called shell script. Okay, so issuing a command one by one is just like this, carrying the log manually one by one. Okay, but if you carry within a container, it will be happening at a time. Similarly, you keep all the commands in a file and run at a time. That is called shell scripting. So you can no need to install the things manually. It will take very less time, and you no need to do you don't do mistakes because you will test it and then run it. Okay, so that script you can keep it. If you create more number of servers, you just run the script within 5 minutes, maximum 2 to 3 minutes. Everything will be installed properly. So that is the advantage of shell script. So shell script is native scripting of Linux servers. Okay. So when you see the Linux architecture, last time we discussed Linux architecture. So there is hardware, on top of it there is a kernel, on top of it there is a shell, on top of it there is an application. If you install applications in OS, also Linux server, then that application should connect with shell and shell should connect with kernel. Finally, kernel is connecting with hardware. So it means shell is the default scripting language of Linux server. It's just like in Windows, PowerShell is the default scripting language. You can do all these steps with Python, but Python still is an application in Linux server. Just understand this difference. What is the difference between shell scripting and Python scripting? Understand the difference. Shell scripting is a native scripting of Linux server. Okay, if you want to do anything in Linux, that should go through shell. Okay, so you can do other steps with Python, but Python, what it has to do, Python is application inside Linux. Okay, if you install Python, it is an application inside Linux server. You can do all these steps, with Python, but Python, what it does again, Python will again connect with shell internally. So you are adding one more layer on top of shell, that is Python. That takes a lot of time. So the advantage of native shell scripting is, for example, if 10 Hindi persons are speaking, what is the communication language they prefer? Obviously Hindi, for fast and easy to communicate. If 5 Hindi or 5 English, if all these guys are communicating with each other, so they will definitely go for English as a communication language. Okay. So finally, if you have to do something inside the Linux server, it is always preferred, it is always recommended to go with shell scripting. If you want to do something out of the Linux server, then you go for Python. Okay, something out of Linux, go for Python. So what is that use case outside of Python is, for example, so we have instances, lot of instances running. For example, these are the development instances. Developers, they will stay in office from 9 a.m. to, for example, 9 p.m. Okay. Once they log out from the office, imagine they don't work. Then you are running these servers for 12 hours, unnecessary cost. Okay. So I need to stop. This is the use case. I need to stop development EC2 and RDS instances out of office hours. So then what you have to do, you have to run a script, create a script that will connect AWS cloud, and then it will stop at 9 p.m. and then start at 9 a.m. automatically. Okay, so this is the script. So from your script, you have to connect to the AWS. That is obviously the external environment. Let me take this. So this is your Linux. So within this, you have to go for shell script for manual installation. I mean, for installations inside the server. Terminal. It's fine. So within this, you have to go for shell script. But I need to stop AWS cloud. So this is AWS account. From one of your server, you will write a script here. So this script should connect to AWS account, and then it will stop and start the instances. So then you are going out of your server. So this is your Linux server, for example. So you are going out of your server. You have to connect with the AWS account. So at that time, definitely the shell scripting is not preferred because this is not the native. This is an external system. So to do some automations with external systems, you should always prefer Python scripting. To do some automations within the server, you can go for shell scripting. Okay. This is the final conclusion. Automations inside Linux, that is internal. Go for shell scripting. Automations outside Linux, that is external. Go for Python scripting. Okay. So this is the final point you should understand. So we'll be getting a lot of questions. Shell is outdated. Everyone is using Python. No, shell is never outdated. Until the Linux is alive, shell is always alive. Okay. So now we have to learn shell scripting to automate our installations within the Linux server. So before learning shell scripting, you are writing coding. So this is coding. Coding is two types. One is programming and the other one is scripting. So when somebody is joining for DevOps, they will be asking a lot of questions. Is there coding? Is there coding? Definitely is there. It is coding. But coding is two types. One is programming and the other one is shell scripting or scripting, any kind of scripting. So this programming like Java, Python. So Python can be used as two purpose. One is for programming purpose and the other one is for scripting purpose. Okay. And we used Go and then we used Node.js. So these are all called programming. This is like development. So this is the development. So what these guys are doing while you are opening your application, these guys are developing a lot of things. They are connecting with databases, they are doing some insertions, they are reading the database, they are updating the database, they are deleting the database, they are managing the sessions. And when you are doing some payments, they are taking care of the payments and everything, lot of sending messages, alerts, lot of things are happening in the background. So that is called development. So development is little bit complex because what is the main goal of development? It should be, main goal of development should be less time, more performance. Okay, your code should execute in less time. It should give more performance. It should consume less resources also. I mean, less RAM, less hard disk, everything should be less. Consuming the resources should be less, giving the performance should be more. So they implement a lot of things in background, that is like data structures, algorithms, design patterns, frameworks. So this is their job, not DevOps guy job. Okay, so DevOps guy job is very simple. If you're, for example, if one person wrote a script, it is executing in 1 minute. You are writing a script, it is executing in 2 minutes. That is fine, not a problem. So there is no performance problems here. Only thing is automation. Okay, instead of manual tasks, go for automation. You are not connecting with the databases here. You are not fetching the data. You are not implementing data structures. You are not implementing algorithms, design patterns, and frameworks. You are simply keeping all those commands in a single file and you are running at a time. So that is scripting. Okay. So this is programming. You don't need to worry about programming at all. Scripting is very easy. Okay. So on a whole, coding has simple concepts. One is variables and data types. Even the programming, same concept. Even the scripting, same concept. Conditions, loops, functions. That's it. Okay, you take any programming language, you take any scripting language. These are the only concepts we have. Just the syntax is different. When you're writing something, don't worry about the syntax. Just understand what to do manually and what to do in a general way. Then you can always implement these concepts. For example, if you give me some Go scripting right now to do some task, I'll first write a general algorithm. Okay. So in a general way, what should be done? Write these steps and finally you think about the syntax, then definitely you can do very, very good coding. Okay, this concept applies for programming as well as scripting, both. So these are the only concepts in either programming or scripting. So we will learn these concepts one by one. Okay, you no need to worry, you no need to actually programming and coding, scripting, whatever it is very simple. Okay, just you need to write this general way, how to do the steps in a general way. If you write it properly, then you can easily automate it. Okay. So when these concepts will come, we are going to discuss and then we will learn the concepts one by one. Okay. So you are writing coding, that is scripting. Okay. When I'm saying coding from now onwards, just understand it is scripting. Okay, you cannot escape from coding any technology. For example, if you are working as SQL, you need to definitely write PL/SQL. If you are working as Linux administrator, you should definitely do shell scripting. Okay, there is no way to escape from coding because now we will understand why. If you are doing manually, that definitely they are doing some mistakes because of these reasons only. Whatever the technology you are working in, if you do those things manually, then these are the disadvantages. So everybody is moving towards scripting. Any technology, there is a scripting. Okay. So when you are writing some programming, so you cannot keep it in laptops. Okay, you should not store coding in laptops or desktops. So definitely you should store in repos. for safety and security. Okay, so we'll do the environment setup now. So this is our laptop. And then we will upload the coding to GitHub. Okay, so why I'm choosing laptop to develop, that is nothing but IDE, Integrated Development Environment. If I ask you to write 100 lines of shell script, which one is easy? Writing in your Linux server is easy through VIM editor, or writing in Visual Studio Code, something like this is easy, because we know how to use it Windows very well. We have some good graphics here so that you can easily type, you can have the easy controls like Control C, Control P, everything. So that is why we always prefer IDE, Integrated Development Environment. Here we are using Visual Studio Code. Okay, so we will develop here. Through Visual Studio Code. Okay, no problem. So this is our VS Code editor. So from here, you will push to the GitHub. Okay, this is GitHub. So inside Linux server, you will pull or clone. So this is your Linux server. So from there, you will pull and you will run here. So this is the flow we will follow. You will develop the shell script inside your VS Studio Code, Visual Studio Code, and then you will push it to GitHub, and within the Linux server, you pull and then you run here. Okay. So this is the flow we should follow. So the advantages of keeping the code in GitHub has multiple things, that is for safety and security, version control. For example, if I ask you to give me what I wrote 10 minutes back in this file, you cannot, because we are replacing the content. But in version control, you can go back previous versions. So that is why it is called as version control, source code management, or version control system, VCS, or source code management, SCM. So Git is very popular now. So it can be used for the safety and security storage of the code, and it can be used as version control, and it has some branches. Okay, for example, our website is running here. Now I need to do some changes. Okay, so what we have to do generally, if there is a crucial file, just imagine this is a crucial file. If you do a silly mistake also, you cannot restore. You cannot restore back to the previous version. Generally, what we do, copy, do one more copy of important file and edit the copied file. Check for syntax and errors. If everything is fine, then you replace original file. This is what we follow the approach. If you have a file that is very crucial, so we will take the copy of the file, we will do the changes in that copied file and check for the syntax errors. If everything is good, then only you can go for replacement of the original file. Similarly, in Git. So there is a branches. So master always running with production code. If you want some changes, create a branch from master. Okay. Edit the changes here and raise a pull request. Okay, pull request, when you raise it, so what does it mean? So generally, so there is a master branch here. It is pointing to production. Okay, so generally what you do, you will create another branch. For example, version 2.0 from master, you create another branch and you do changes here. And then you test the changes. Obviously, we will test the changes. So if everything is good, you will raise a pull request from here to master. So when you raise pull request, so everybody can review the changes. The advantages of pull request is everyone, every team member can review the changes. If good, then approve and merge. So this is the advantage. This is the biggest advantages of source code management version control system. And you can track who is doing what. For example, if there is some faulty code within our project, then you want to see who did that code, who did that coding, then you can always track from the GitHub who has done that coding. So we have a lot of advantages. So that is why using source code management is mandatory. One of the popular tool in source code management is Git. So Git is a concept of version control system. So we have multiple vendors for that to implement Git. So that is GitHub and GitLab, Bitbucket. So these are the popular implementations of Git. Okay, Git is a concept actually. So GitHub is one of the implementation, GitLab is one of the implementation, Bitbucket is one of the implementation. Just like Linux is a kernel, we have multiple distributions of Linux. Similarly, Git is a popular concept. Okay, and these are the multiple implementations of Git. So mostly everything is same, 99.9% same, just some terminology or some changes in the UI. That's it, nothing much. Okay, there is hardly few changes in the user interface. Apart from those user interface, everything, the implementation is 100% same. So GitHub is a popular implementation of Git, and similarly GitLab, Bitbucket. So every vendor here are coming with two things. One is public and other one is private. Okay. So now we are using GitHub. So where are these GitHub servers? GitHub has its own infrastructure. We are storing the code in the GitHub servers. So if you start using github.com, so what is happening? You are storing code in GitHub servers. Okay. So financial companies like RBI, State Bank of India, or ICICI, or some banking or financial institutions, they don't prefer to store their code inside the GitHub servers. So GitHub is offering another thing, that is private installation. So they will give software, they have the packages installations. They give their package. We need to install in our own servers. Okay, so now what you have to do, you have to create EC2 instance and then map it to github.join devops.online. install GitHub here, and then you start using it. So now the code is within your EC2 instances or within your Linux servers. Okay, so generally companies like financial insurance companies, they always prefer to install the GitHub or GitLab or Bitbucket in their own servers. They will map it with their domain and they will start using GitHub. Now the code is stored in their servers. If they don't prefer to store the code in GitHub servers, that's a security issue. So any implementation, either GitHub, GitLab, Bitbucket, they all come with public and private installations. So we are using public. So in your companies, if it is a financial, something related to money, so they always prefer to store in their own servers. But whether it is github.com or your company GitHub, the implementation, the user interface, mostly everything is same. Okay, no need to worry about that. Just understand this, why you are going for private installations in your companies. So now let us use public. We no need to break our heads for these installations. Okay, when there is a time in your company, they will definitely install. You no need to be part of it as a DevOps engineer. Just you should understand Git and you should start using Git as a DevOps engineer. Okay. So in GitHub, everything we call it as repository. So what is the meaning of repository? That stores something. So it is storing the code. So we are calling it as GitHub repository. So all of you can create your GitHub accounts once you log out. So it is very simple, just like your Facebook sign up. You can give your email address and then password, username, everything. This is very simple. So once you sign up, you can just go for sign in. Okay. So first thing we have to create the repository here. There is a new repository. Okay, I'm going to create shell script. Okay, so this is the repository name and keep it public generally. If it is private, you need to pay the money. Just keeping it as public and create repository. Okay. So that's it. Now they will give us the commands, what to follow to push the code into the GitHub. That is fine. We are going to learn. So this is how you create the repository. Okay. So first step is create repo. Call it as repo shortcut. Okay. And then second step, clone into your laptop. Okay. So GitHub is a server, right? GitHub is one of the server. Like, so how to connect with GitHub? So that is nothing but git bash. Or git command line. Okay. So git bash in your Windows, you can keep git bash, or generally in Linux servers, we will use git command line. Nothing but git command. Okay. So we install GitHub here. Then you need to connect from Git to GitHub. I mean git bash to GitHub. So git bash is for two purposes. One is SSH client. Can connect your Linux servers. And another one is Git client. To connect any Git servers, not only GitHub, any Git servers. So you created a repo, you have to clone it. So the command here is you just launch your git bash and then I'll make a directory. Just create any directory in your system. Okay. Here, git clone. Clone is nothing but you are creating one more copy. Git clone and URL. So you will get the URL. So this is the URL. First, let us see HTTPS. Okay, let me delete the existing credentials if I have. Okay, git clone. So this is the URL. And you have to move into that shell script. Okay. And select the master branch. Select the main branch. So generally, main branch is master called. Keep master as main branch. So the command is git branch -m. It is main master. So by default, GitHub they give main as the master branch, but we can give git branch -m master as the main branch. It is fine if you can keep main also, not a problem. So now it is changed as master. Okay. And then do some coding. Okay, so let us do some coding here. Let me close this. So you install VS Code. Just like VLC Media Player, how you install GitHub, download for installs and click next, you will get it. You will get Visual Studio Code like this. Once you open, you will get a new window. This is how you will launch VS Code. Okay, and go to the file, and there is an option called open folder. Okay, keep your repos in a single folder like this. Like I'm keeping inside DevOps TAW74S. This is my folder. This is where I keep all the repositories. Just create a repos folder in anywhere in your system and then select folder. That's it. Then you can open everything here. Okay. Now you can see shell script is, you can see here, and just create one file. I'm creating one file, readme.md. Okay. You'll write something. Shell script. I am learning shell and git. So you are writing something. Okay. So when you are writing something, you need to push it to the GitHub. So what will happen if you don't push? You are developing something, you are doing some development. If you are not pushing it here, if you are not pushing to the GitHub, you go to your home, and today night your laptop may crash. So you lose your code. So that is why on daily basis, our developers or DevOps engineers, any persons, before they sign out from the project, or before they sign out from the for the day, they have to push their code to the GitHub so that it is safe. Okay, at least one time a day. So now how to push? So before pushing, there is something called, so this is your workspace. Space is nothing but this one where you are developing. So this is my workspace. I'm writing something. There are multiple steps to push to the code to the GitHub. First, there is something called staging area. And there is something called local repo. And another one finally, central repo. Okay. Right now you are doing development in your workspace. First thing you need to push it to the staging area. And second thing you need to push it to the local repo. And finally you need to push it to the central repo. So the steps here, why we have these many areas is, for example, so GitHub is a centralized distribution system. What is centralized? So all of us know the centralized capital and decentralized capital. What is centralized capital? Everything in a single place. So this is the problem when there was a state division between Andhra Pradesh and Telangana. So everything is in Hyderabad. Okay. So that is the problem with Andhra and Telangana, they fought with each other. Okay. Everything is in Hyderabad. So if the state is divided, Andhra Pradesh is not getting anything. So that is the debate, right? So instead of keeping everything in a single location, nowadays everybody is preferring this one. So decentralized capital. Okay. So what is this decentralized capital? In Delhi, you keep all the government buildings here. When it comes to software, you can develop Bangalore, Hyderabad, and Chennai. All the locations for softwares. And industries, you can keep Kolkata, Mumbai. So this is industrial. So what is the advantage of keeping the decentralized capital? Okay, you are distributing the money to multiple places in the country, as well as you are saving your country from the natural disasters. If you keep everything in a single location, if you get some natural disaster like tsunami or heavy rainfall, everything is collapsed. But if you keep it, the entire country, economy, everything in multiple locations, if for example, there is a natural disaster in Delhi, at least other sectors are saved. So this is the advantage of decentralized capital. Okay. So this is nothing but decentralized distribution system. GitHub is a decentralized distribution system. So now let us see why is it decentralized. So now you are keeping your GitHub. GitHub, there is a central. This is the central repo or remote repo, we call it as. So we have multiple developers. Like there is a 3-4 members in a development team. Okay. So he is pushing the changes. And he is pushing the changes. And he is pushing the changes. He is pushing the changes. So as I said, we need to preserve the history. As a decentralized system, you need to preserve the history. Okay. So for example, this laptop is crashed. This laptop is crashed. This laptop is crashed. All the laptops are crashed. At least one laptop is enough, because to get the entire history back, you just need only one laptop. Why? Because You are inside the keeping the local repo. So you'll keep one local repo here. You'll keep one local repo here. And you'll keep one local repo here. And you keep one local repo here. Okay. So first, we will push the changes to the local repo. This is exactly same as GitHub central repo or remote repo. So it will have all the history, all the commits, all the changes, whatever is there here. And then the same thing, you will push it to the GitHub. So finally, your remote repo or centralized repo, it has all the history. Okay, it has all the history saved here. Why? Because you are pushing it first into the local repo, and then from local repo, you are pushing the changes to the central repo. Your history, your commit history, everything is preserved as part of local repo. Okay. For example, all the laptops are crashed. For example, in a project, there are 100 persons, 100 developers, 99 laptops are crashed. Just one laptop is enough to get the history back. Okay. You cannot understand the difference right now. Okay, but definitely once we are progressing with our sessions, you can understand the difference. So we have three places. One is staging area, another one is local repo, another one is central repo. So soon I will show you. Okay, so staging area is nothing but a temporary area. So temporary concept. Before committing, you always keep something in a temporary area and then you can review. Then if it is good, then only you can push it to the repository. Okay, so let us just create the repo and then do something so that you can understand it very well. So I developed something here. It is in workspace. Now I need to add it to the staging or temporary area. The command here is git. Let us say this. Let us give status, git status command. Then it is saying, okay, there is something readme.md. You have to add it. So git add readme.md. So what it does is git add readme.md, saving the changes into temporary area or staging area. Okay, so this is nothing but our staging area. And from here you need to, so this is add command. From here you need to commit the changes. Means you are committing. So this is temporary area, you are not committing. So this is local repo, you are committing. So the command here is nothing but git commit -m some message why you are doing this change. This is always good. So what it is doing, it is committing the changes into local repo. So let me delete some file here. Now git commit, I'm committing the changes. First commit. So it is asking two things. What is your email ID and what is your username? So you should always understand who did that commit, who performed that change. We need a user email ID to understand who did this change. You know the meaning of commit, right? Because you are the responsible. Commit, the meaning of commit itself, you are making yourself responsible. So that is why this is called as commit. So if you are responsible, you need to provide your email address also. Okay, I am saying I am the responsible person for this change. Okay, and then So this is local repo. So till here, you are not pushing the changes to the central repo. Till here, it is local. First, add the changes to the temporary area or staging area. Command is git add, and then one more command we have here. This is you have to mention your username also. So with these two things, we can track who is doing this change. Okay. So this is the one-time configuration generally. Okay. And after this, you push the changes. This is pushing the changes to central repo. Okay. Git push origin means central repo and the which branch. Okay. So I need to try to push some refs. So I have some authentication mechanism here. We set this. Let me remove something. Okay, I need to do some configuration to show you from the scratch. Just give me a second. I'm stopping the screen. Okay. So you need to run this command to add it to staging area, and you need to run this. We have configured this too, right? So these two we have configured generally before committing. Once you configure these things, then you need to push to the local repo. Okay, you can see one file changed and 2 insertions. So once this is done, here staging area and then local repo, finally to the central repo. So the command is git push central repo. It means origin, and then which branch, master. So now it will ask the username and password, because you should have the authentication to push the changes. So for that purpose, generally, okay, you have multiple mechanisms. Let us discuss those. One thing, you can just click on sign in with your browser. Okay, it will open, and here let me show one more time. Oh, it is done. So once you push git push origin master, then it will open and you need to authorize. Okay, I'll show you once again. Let me remove. So where those credentials are changed is in Windows, there is credential manager. Okay, go here. If you want to remove the old credentials, Windows credentials, and there is github.com. Here you can remove. Okay. So now let us do some change again. I am doing another change. So what is the way? First, you add it. You add to the temporary area, and then you commit. Just give some message. Did some change for practice. Okay. So till here, this is local repository, and then git push origin master. So this will open a window like this. Click on sign in with your browser. This will open. And if you are already signed in into this GitHub here, it will directly push it. Okay. There is another option. You have to generate the tokens here. Now let me remove again, and then I'll show you another option. Credentials manager. Our practice for today for up to this. Okay. Sign in with browser. Tomorrow we will discuss another option, that is token based and then SSH based. Okay. One second. Yeah. So this is how you create the repository, and then you change you first add it to the staging and temporary area. Why we are doing this? Because you will have another chance to do some changes before doing some committing, before telling you are the responsible for the change. You always have a second chance so that you can edit something. Okay. And then you are committing to the local repo, and then you are pushing the entire system to the central repo. Now you come here and check. You will have multiple commits. Yeah, refresh, and then can go for this. You have each and every change here. Okay, so that is why first you are committing to the local repository, and the entire setup you are pushing it to the central repository. Now you do changes once again and again, you will get this. I can do changes any number of times. This is your workspace you developed, and then now you are selecting git add, changing this, adding this file to the temporary area and giving some commit -m. This is the message. Just give some meaningful message and then git push origin master. So once you gave the credentials, those credentials are automatically saved in your Windows Credential Manager. Then it can automatically push it. Now you come here and then check, will be another commit. Okay, who did this? Then you can see this person did the commit. Okay, you can, this is the one, like join DevOps repo is the owner did the commits. If you have another team members, they will get their names here. We can get the names here and you can see the message also. Okay. And you can blame here who did this commit. Okay, so 3 minutes ago, this is the message and this is the person did that commit. So Git can track each and everything of your changes. So remember these commands. You create some development in your local and add it to the temporary or staging area and do some commit and then push the changes to the central report. Now, if you type git log, you can see the entire history. The same history, it is here. Okay. Now, for example, this GitHub server itself is crashed. So in the example, what I have shown here, everything is crashed. GitHub server is crashed. All the laptops are also crashed, but still we have the entire copy of this local repo. Okay, you have the full history. So one laptop is enough because you have the full setup in local repo. Okay, that is why we call it as decentralized or distributed system. Okay, distributed is nothing but you have the entire copy here, 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 and here. So everything can be crashed. Just one local repo is enough to restore back to the original state. So that is nothing but decentralized or distributed. So everywhere we are maintaining the copies. So that is why Git is becoming very popular and it's already popular. Everybody is migrated to Git. Okay. Yeah, so we can stop till here today, and from tomorrow, just practice creating the repo and then connecting to the repo from your Windows or any Mac OS or anything. Okay. And then tomorrow we will create the shell scripting and we will store the code in our GitHubs. Git is very big concept. Okay. It's like a Pacific Ocean. Nobody can learn each and everything of Git. Okay. But slowly we will understand how to use Git in our daily life and daily environment, daily work environment. As a DevOps engineer, what are the things you should know about Git? Everything we will discuss, and we will store the code in GitHub, and then we will, all of us can connect to a single repo. We will see the Git merge conflicts, how to merge, how to raise pull request, all these concepts we will learn from tomorrow. Today's class, mostly it is theoretical, but fine. You can go ahead and then refer the recording once again. Tomorrow we will do a simple recap and then we will do this. So this kind of explanation I never see anywhere actually. Okay, but I'm telling this may confuse you for the first time, but once you practice multiple times, then you can definitely understand the concept of Git very well. Okay. Yeah. So we can have a few questions today. Chandrasekhar. Santosh Avula.
Hello, Shiva.
Yeah, hi.
Yeah, Shiva. Suppose two developers are committed the code at a time. How to recognize that who is the committed? And
So there you will get their usernames here.
okay, same code is possible to any conflicts occur.
Conflicts, we will see how to resolve the conflicts, everything we will see. But for now, you are the only person, right, to developing the shell scripts. And after 1 or 2 sessions, we will see how to resolve the conflicts, how to get the conflicts, everything.
Yeah, sure.
Okay,
Thank
maybe most of you know how to create the repo, how to push the changes, but
Yeah.
still try to understand this concept, why we have staging area, why we have local repo. So you can directly push, why can't we directly push from here to here? Okay, that is because we have to give a second chance to the developers so that they should select which one to push, commit, which one to not commit. Okay, just understand there may be lot of files. Okay, here there is a file 1, file 2. He is developing something in file 1, developing something here, but not completed. Okay. Here it is completed. So now if we go here and then this is completed. So this is completed. Okay. So now if you go and check Git status, there are 2 modifications. File 1 is created and there is some change in this one. So I'm saying this is completed. Development of this file is completed, but it is in progress. So you cannot commit in progress things, okay, that may cause the errors. So what developers will do, they will add only the completed files to the staging area and they will commit completed one feature. And now they will push. So if you go and refresh, so you are getting only this one. This is completed, but still developer is doing another file development. He don't want to commit. So that is why there is a staging area. You can select which one to commit, which one not to commit. So that is the advantage of staging area. So developers always have the second chance and they can select, they are free to select which one to commit, which one not to commit. So that is the purpose of staging area. And we have local repo just for the distribution purpose. And you commit to the local repo and from here you push to the central repo. So this is the final structure of our repos. Okay. And when 2 persons are working together, then we will see that anyhow as part of Git conflicts and collaboration environment. Yeah, that is in upcoming sessions. Aravind?
Yeah, hi Shiva.
Yeah, hi.
So from the Git, right? So we can only push the code, or we can push any other files like Word file or spreadsheet or
You
audio,
can
video
push
files.
basically anything, but it is for the code. The purpose of Git is to keep the code. If you want to push some files like audio and video files, so those are not the developing files, right?
Correct.
So,
Yeah, and nowadays in the corporate offices, they are even putting all the Word documents and spreadsheets in Git. So how do I do that, Shiva?
no, actually, we prefer them in S3 buckets.
Okay.
So S3 is the object storage to keep the files, images, videos. Okay, if you are watching something in Netflix and Prime today, so that video is coming from S3 bucket, not from Git. If you are viewing some images in a website like this, so this is stored in S3 bucket generally.
Okay.
If they are using it,
How about pushing the Word documents?
you can push, but just understand the purpose of Git. The purpose of Git is for development. If you are developing Word document, then you can push. But here, what documents do you develop here inside Git? No, right? So we will develop what? Some code like application code or programming code, scripting. You are doing developing, you are frequently changing and then pushing it. So for the other purposes like storing images, documents, we have different things like SharePoint. And then you have S3 bucket where you keep your images and files. Ideally, you can keep anything in Git. Okay. But the best recommendation is to keep the
It's on generator.
programming, not for the files.
Okay.
GitHub is created to store the application code.
Thank you, sir.
Most welcome. Sheikh Ahmed.
Yeah, hi Shiva.
Yeah,
Morning
hi. Morning.
and happy Independence Day to all.
Thank you and happy Independence Day to you.
Yeah, so regarding the services like these all app services and web service we created.
Mhm.
So in AWS, did you stop yesterday and restarted again today morning or?
No, I terminated and then recreated.
Oh, okay. So every time the public IP will be changed, right? Even if we stop and restart.
Yes, correct.
Yeah, so that is the reason we are creating a record and giving the URL, right?
You can go for Elastic IP. We will discuss that concept in our upcoming session.
Okay.
So whenever you change, right now you must change in Route 53.
Hmm.
Okay.
So okay. So the giving the record and we are creating one URL, right? So that purpose is different then.
Record is you have whenever you get the new IP address, you need to change the record here. For example, MongoDB, you terminated the instance and then you created again. Your private IP address also will change. Then you
Okay.
come here and then you edit.
We are replacing the IP address in the service with this URL, right? So that's what I'm asking.
Yeah, obviously, when you get new IP address, you need to replace that record here. So usually in our projects, do we terminate the instances when the business is running?
No.
No, so because the IP addresses will be same there.
Okay.
Okay. Even you stop and start, you may get new public IP, but the private IP address is same.
Hmm.
So, but for here, we are terminating just to save the cost. But in projects, you don't terminate the instances when they are running.
Hmm.
So there is no need to change the records frequently.
Okay. So instead of giving the value, we are directly giving the record in the service.
Yes, correct.
Okay.
So now
yeah.
you no need to enter the service files.
Yep. Okay. So another like coming to Git, like whenever you're pushing, so the code like it is asking for sign in option, right?
Yeah, correct.
So initial we need to sign up for that. We need to create for the first time. We need to create a credentials.
Yeah, here you sign up for the Git. Then you
The same
create the repo.
credentials
Yeah,
need
the
to
same.
mention there.
Yeah, you will once you sign in the browser, okay, it will redirect a URL like this.
Okay.
Then it will consider you already signed in, so it will give the permission to push. Okay, so cloning is not a problem. You are just reading it, but pushing is write operation. Correct? You are writing something to your repo so that it should validate who are writing it, whether they have the permission or not.
Okay.
Suppose if I clone your code, if I try to push, will it should allow or not?
It should allow.
It should not allow. I'm cloning your code to my repo and I'm trying to do some changes. Will you allow me to do some changes randomly?
No.
No. So I should prove the authentication and authorization.
Nice.
So if you give me the access, then I can push. Otherwise, I cannot push. So that is why it is asking who are you. Then you are clicking on sign in with browser. Then it is redirecting to some URL. Since you already signed in, it is validating you and then it is allowing you to do the changes. For example, let me log out here. Now I do some change. Changing without signing. Okay. Now you can add it to the staging area. Now you can commit it to the local repo because it is still your local. Now, if you try to push it to the central repository, yeah, maybe it happens because the credentials are saved. Let me remove the credentials in Windows. Credential manager, and there is github.com. Here it is saved if you are given one time. Now I'll do some change again. something random change. Adding to the staging area, committing it to the local repo. This is not a problem till here because it is your local computer. But when you try to push the changes to the central repo, okay, now it is asking, a window will open like this. Okay. Now if I click sign in with your browser, so this will open a browser like this. Still somewhere shit is not signed out completely.
Oh. And in Visual Code, whatever we're writing, the code, it will get automatically saved, or we need to click Control S.
Yeah, Control S. Okay, now this is signed out. Let me remove the credentials again. Windows credentials. Here I remove. So now understand how is it happening. All of you. Some changes. And then you add to the temporary area or staging area. And you commit to it. And you try to push. Now a window is open like this. You click on sign in with browser. And now you need to sign in. Okay.
Okay.
So then it means the GitHub checked your authentication. You are the person who can have access to push. Then it is pushing the changes. Okay.
Okay, sure.
Yeah. So now one of the authentication mechanism here is sign in through the browser. We have another way that is nothing but token based. Instead of you giving the username and password, you can always have some tokens. And then you have SSH based, just like how we are keeping the public key in the server and signing a private key. You can have SSH based authentication that is more flexible. Okay, so tomorrow we can see that. Okay. And another question, Murali Raju.
Hi, Shiva. Good morning.
Yeah, hi, good morning.
Since we are using Git Bash, we didn't init, right? We didn't run Git init.
That is another way. So this one is one way. What is the way of here? Create repo in central and work with it. So this is one way. And there is
Okay.
another way, we will see that in tomorrow's session. That is, you have an existing. How can you push? Yes, this is another way.
Oh, in that case, we have to initialize the Git.
Yes, yes, correct. That we will see in tomorrow's session.
Okay. Thanks, Shiva.
Yeah. And Srinu?
Yeah, hi Shiva, good morning.
Yeah, hi, good morning.
Yeah, master, can we assume it like as a main folder?
Yeah, you can.
Okay, inside the repository, we'll have the main folder like master. In that master, we can have multiple folders, right?
Folder, just understanding it as folder is good for now. That is okay. And then in upcoming sessions, you'll get more clarity.
Oh, okay, yeah, thanks.
And Divya Lingala, you have some question, you can unmute and ask.
Yeah, hi Shiva.
Yeah, hi.
While creating the script, you said that Visual Studio, that IDE is necessary, right? So
Yes, correct.
can we write with the help of VIM also, right?
Yeah, that's what I said. Is VIM flexible for us to write something in the Linux server? Like Windows is good or Linux server is good for development? You can write directly in VIM, not a problem.
Okay.
If you are good at with VIM.
So why do we use IDE? Just to avoid the complexity? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, exactly.
Okay, fine. And What if once we write in the Windows and once we copy to the Linux, does it support the compatibility?
Yes, it will.
Okay.
Okay, any other question?
No, thank you.
So we are not executing in Windows. You are just writing it. Execution is in Linux. That is not a problem. Praveen Kottapalli.
Yeah, hi Shiva, good morning.
Yeah, hi, good morning.
Shiva, so we are creating a Route 53, right? Host zone.
Yeah, correct.
Is it chargeable even host zone also?
Yeah, it is chargeable
Host zone also.
based on the
not,
number of records.
no. Records are chargeable. I understood that, but even the host zone also chargeable.
So if it is
It will-
hosted zone, by default, it has some 2 records inside, right?
Okay, by default, okay, it is chargeable.
Yeah. So there
Okay,
is
so daily.
AWS calculator somewhere, AWS billing calculator.
Mhm.
So if you just open this and let us go for estimation and Route 53. Okay. And here, so you can read this. So how much cost per record, everything will be here. We don't need to enter the amount actually. Pricing calculator. Plus Route 53 record charges. Will be very less, but whenever you are doing, it is always good. So it is in free tier already something. If you delete within 12 hours, it is not charged. And there is a charges on record based also. Yeah, you can go through that. But the first 25 record hosted zone, this is cost per hosted zone, $0.5 per month.
Okay.
Okay. So and there is a charge for the records also. So you can go through that.
Okay, then so I think how many days we will do this manual work, like creating
Manual work
servers
is
and
done. Now
terminating.
we are going to do automation.
Okay, okay,
Okay. Yeah.
okay. Thank you.
Most welcome. And Kishore?
Hello. Hi, Shiva. Good morning.
Yeah. Hi. Good morning.
Yeah, actually, whenever you do initial push to the central repo, actually it was telling like there is a miss the master branch. I mean to say whether we have to change from main to master in the central repo or
No, you
also?
can keep it. You can keep it same. You can keep it. So I just changed. Generally, we use the terminology we use as master branch. So that I changed it to the git branch -m master. But terminology doesn't matter. If you want to
Okay,
keep
the
main
main
as
and master are same. If central repo is having main branch also, whenever we push it, automatically it will be pushed.
yes, correct.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, just for the naming convention, nothing difference in the functionality. You can keep main as the main branch. And Harikishore Bandam.
Good morning, Shiva.
Yeah, hi, good morning.
Actually, my doubt is about the scripting.
Mhm.
Okay, so you told that inside the Linux we are going to use shell scripting, right?
Yes, correct.
If we want to do outside the server means we are going to use Python scripting, right?
Yeah, correct.
So actually, we are going to learn Python scripting also.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Lekya Garapati.
Yeah, hi Shiva, good morning.
Yeah, hi, good morning.
So for pushing, we have some command called push origin master, right?
Yes.
Master is the branch which we created.
Yeah.
Origin means we are pushing it to Git repository, or that wording, like, is it part of the command or something?
Yeah. Origin means the central repo. For example, if I want to show you here, so whenever it's a Git repository, there is a hidden .git here. So you can go inside .git and there is something called config. Okay, here you can see origin. What is the origin here? This is the URL of your shell script. So when you are keeping git push origin, it means you are pushing to the central repository and master branch.
Okay, Shiva. So we have only one repository in Git for now, right? Like we can create multiple repositories also, right?
Yes, you can create any number of repositories.
Like from origin to like production or some system testing kind of environment.
Yeah, we will create those info.
Okay. Okay, Shiva. Yeah, got my answer. Thanks, Shiva.
Okay, most welcome. And then Yashwant.
Hello.
Yeah, hi.
Yeah, hi. Happy Independence Day to all.
Thank you. Happy Independence Day to you.
Yeah, Shiva. So with SuperPutty, we had multiple tabs, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. In the same way, in companies also using in the same way.
Yes.
So every organization using
So
SuperPutty.
that doesn't matter. Company will never ask you to keep multiple tabs in your Windows. Okay. The main thing is you need to connect to the server. Apart
Okay.
from that, it is your flexibility.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Sharon B.
Hi, Shiva. I think you just answered it. I missed it. I only heard half of it. I was actually going to ask you if we commit our code to the our master branch, and we say origin, and it could be our local repository. And when we push, my main question is like how do we take it from the central to the final repository version?
Central is the final repository. Central is the final repo. When you are pushing, it means you are pushing to the central repo.
So this repo would be directly deployed and go live?
Yeah, we will come to that point. Now it's not the time for discussion, but this is the main repo. So this is the main repository and main branch. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So now our code is in master. For example, see this code is running in production. Every hour, all the end customers are accessing our website. Now, if you want to change, you don't do the change directly in the master. You create another branch, just like as I explained here. You create another branch from the master, some name, whatever the name you want, like version 2.0 is the name, and you do the development here, test the changes in development and QA, then you push it to the master and you can go for another deployment.
Okay.
So that is the way.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, yeah. So I explained theoretically the advantages, but you may be convinced once we practice them. So we started creating the repos, we started authentication, and tomorrow we will see this. How can you create how can you push the existing folder to the central repo? For today, all of you create the repo, add some files, commit the changes to the local repo. While you are doing for the first time, it will ask your username and then email. And once you are pushing it at the time, it will ask browser sign in. Tomorrow we will discuss how can you do token based as well as SSH based. Okay, so that's all for today. Thank you so much. And yeah, evening we will have doubt session. You can all connect if you have some questions there. Happy Independence Day once again. Thank you so much. See you in the evening session.